Washington's first unofficial depth chart is out, and it tells us more about who isn't practicing than who is starting. That and more right now on Locked On Commanders.
You are Locked On Commanders, your daily podcast on the Washington Commanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This is Locked On Commanders. I am David Harrison, your guy on the ground covering the Washington Commanders for WUSA 9, and I'm here with you 5 days a week. You can also find me writing about the Commanders for Sports Illustrated's CommanderGameDay.com. You can follow me on X at DHarrison82. I want to thank you for making Locked On Commanders your first listen or view, and a special thank you goes out to all the everydayers who make this show an everyday part of your routine, especially to all the listeners, viewers, supporters, everydayers who have been introducing themselves to me at training camp. Greatly appreciate it. And again, if you see me out there at practice, if you see me at a game down the season, something like that, don't be afraid to say hi. You might have to be a little bit loud. I am a little bit hard of hearing, so you might have to get my attention, but would certainly love to thank you and to thank you in person, I should say. If it's your first time here, thank you for coming through. Hopefully you enjoy the show and you come back again soon. Everybody out there, if you haven't already, please subscribe for free on YouTube or wherever you're listening to today's episode, in which we're going to have linebacker Kane Medrano coming through for a conversation. We're going to break down Jayden Daniels' 9th day of training camp practice, and we're going to start it all off by looking at the team's first unofficial depth charts of the season. All of that coming up on today's episode of Locked On Commanders, a proud part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Washington's first depth chart is out. The real intrigue really lies with the players who are outperforming their current spots. When we look at the first depth chart of the season, again, it's unofficial. Don't put too much stock in it, right? But it is certainly a fun moment of the year to kind of get a look at what the Washington Commanders are doing here. And you do, when you look at it, it's on the team site, it's on social media. So if you don't have it in front of you right now, just whenever you get a chance to look at it, some things that you're going to notice. Terry McLaurin is on there. He's bracketed because just to identify, like, he's not really participating right now. He's an injured player right now. Sam Cosmi is also on there as your starting right guard. Dan Quinn did talk about on Monday that the door for Sam Cosmi to return for week 1 is still open, although that conversation is still a couple of weeks away from really happening. Your starting offensive line is pretty much exactly what we said it would be. Left tackle, Laremy Tunsil. Left guard is Brandon Coleman. Your center is Tyler Biadasz. Your right guard, other than Sam Cosmi, is Nick Allegretti. Your right tackle is Andrew Wylie. And it says, or Josh Connerly Jr., but as of right now, just kind of looking at it, it's basically Andrew Wylie. They are rotating reps and all those things. And certainly with Brandon Coleman out these last 2 days, or leaving the last practice on Saturday, being out for this practice here on Monday, certainly Josh Connerly Jr. getting more reps with the first team at that right tackle position. But right now, still, Andrew Wylie is kind of still clearly the best man for that job there. Tight ends, Zach Ertz. Ben Sinnott is actually listed as your second tight end behind Zach Ertz because they have 2 tight end spots. So Zach Ertz, John Bates, both first team tight ends. Ben Sinnott, Colson Yankoff, both second team tight ends. Cole Turner, Lawrence Cager are your third team tight ends. Tight end Tyree Jackson was put on injured reserve, so he's not going to be available this season. Wide receivers, they got 2 spots for that. 3 spots for that. Terry McLaurin, like I said, Noah Brown, Deebo Samuel are your 3 quote unquote starting wide receivers. Michael Gallup, KJ Osborne, and Luke McCaffrey listed behind them. Meanwhile, Chris Moore, who has been playing reps with the first team offense, kind of taking over that Terry role, is listed as a third team receiver. Jacoby Jones, Jalen Lane also there, and then Jacory Brooks, among others, in that fourth team area of the wide receiver depth chart. Quarterback, obviously Jayden Daniels, followed by Marcus Mariota. Josh Johnson is listed as the third quarterback, while Sam Hartman is the fourth. And then running backs, pretty much what you expect. B-Rob, Brian Robinson at the top, Austin Eckler second, Jeremy McNichols is third, Chris Rodriguez Jr. fourth, and then Jacory Croskey-Merritt, the 7th round rookie, is behind Chris Rodriguez Jr. and Kaz Allen, Demetric Felton rounding out the running back room. So some of this doesn't necessarily jive with what we've been seeing at practice, but again, don't take this, too much as gospel and all that stuff. Some of this is certainly going to change and certainly be, a little bit transactional. Like Jalen Lane has been getting reps up and down, right? First team, second team, third team, just basically anywhere they can get him reps. I mean, even Deebo Samuel is out there getting reps with the second team at times. Sam Hartman certainly kind of looks like he's getting the edge there as the third overall quarterback. And Jacory Croskey-Merritt, listed as the fifth running back, but I think a lot of people would pretty much agree that he's much more like the third running back than he is the fifth running back, pending, future performances. Flipping over to the defensive side of things, again, pretty much what we expected. Dietrich Wise Jr., Dorrance Armstrong are your starting DNs. Defensive tackles, Deron Payne and Javon Kinlaw are your starters there. Jerzon Johnny Newton is on the second team. Eddie Goldman on the second team along with him. Your outside linebackers, Von Miller, and your two inside linebackers, Bobby Wagner, Frankie Lubu. Jordan McGee is listed as a second team inside linebacker. Kane Medrano is listed behind Jordan McGee, as well as Dominique Hampton. Nick Ballore, special teams ace, is listed as a second team linebacker behind Frankie Luvu. Marshawn Lattimore, Trey Amos, and Mikey Sainristil are your starting three corners. According to this depth chart, Jonathan Jones coming in behind them, along with Noah Igbenogany, who is in the slot position behind Mikey Sainristil, but has been getting plenty of work as a perimeter corner. Will Harris and Quan Martin are your two starting safeties. Percy Butler, Jeremy Reeves behind them. Tyler Owens is in the third team. Rob McDaniel, the undrafted free agent, on the fourth team. Ben Nickel is the third team free safety, along with Tyler Owens, who's the third team strong safety. So again, a lot of just kind of chalk there. Not really a whole lot to go through. Jordan McGee has been missed, had not been seen for multiple practices now. Kane Medrano getting extra reps with higher up teams in his absence, and has been doing pretty well for himself. Special teams, Tress Way, Matt Gay, your punter, your kicker. Tress Way is your holder. Long snapper, Tyler Ott. No competitions there right now. Kick returner, Austin Eckler is your number one kick returner. Second team All-Pro last year as a return specialist, so not a big surprise there. Luke McCaffrey, Demetric Felton, Kaz Allen falling in behind them. For your punt returner, KJ Osborne is listed as the first punt returner. Jalen Lane second, Demetric Felton third, Kaz Allen fourth. Don't necessarily believe that's how it'll end up. I think Jalen Lane ends up being your starting punt returner. I think I saw JP Finley of NBC Sports 106.7 The Fan comment that KJ Osborne has 11 career punt returns under his belt. I think that's going to be Jalen Lane's job when it's all said and done. So not a whole lot of surprises there on the depth chart. Again, unofficial. Don't read too much into it. But again, it's just kind of always fun to look at it at this point in time. Some other observations: Jacory Croskey-Merritt, man. I mean, just turning heads in practice, continuing to turn heads in practice. Had a big run today on Monday as we went through, and then Deebo Samuel continuing to do big things as well. But also Trey Amos, rookie cornerback. Defensive coordinator Joey Jr. had high praise for him, saying, quote unquote, Trey's had a good day every day. And like I said, he's not making big plays every day, not getting interceptions every day, but one of the biggest compliments you can give a rookie defensive back is that you don't stand out in any bad ways. Like, we're never looking at him saying, oh, he got blown out of that coverage. Sure, guys are making catches sometimes. Jaden's completing passes against them sometimes, but usually he's still in very, very good coverage, doing everything that he can do. Kane Medrano, again, had another big day with Jordan McGee out. Kane Medrano is making the most out of getting some extra reps. Had a would-be tackle for loss against Croskey-Merritt. Another solid run stop on Kaz Allen, which we talked about in the interview, coming up here later in the episode. And just having a really great camp, man. Adam Peters just continuing to look like he might know a thing or two about this draft business, right? So the depth chart may list the starters, but the quarterback's performance in practice is what will truly define this team's success. Jayden Daniels is a big fan of upholding standards. He had one of those standards upheld, I want to say against him, but on him, perhaps, on Monday's practice. We'll explain more right now on Locked On Commanders, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This episode is presented by Yahoo Fantasy. It's the best time of the year. NFL kickoff is almost here, and that means fantasy football season is back in full swing. And this year, Yahoo Fantasy is turning things up with a fantasy football experience like never before. This year, me and Locked On Commanders, we're playing on Yahoo Fantasy, and you should too. We just analyzed the Commanders depth chart for rookie sleepers, and that's what I love about Yahoo Fantasy. You get to be the GM. I'm trying this new guillotine leagues thing where the lowest scoring team gets cut each and every week, kind of like training camp, right? Not getting cut every week, but certainly could be losing reps. To celebrate 28 years of fantasy football greatness, Yahoo Fantasy is dropping 28 big new features over 28 days throughout August. To kick it off, they just dropped Yahoo Fantasy Guillotine Leagues, a killer new way to play fantasy football on Yahoo, where the lowest scoring team gets eliminated each week until there's one team left standing. With the season around the corner, now is the time to get your league together and give this new mode a try. If you're more into the classics, you can still play in head-to-head private leagues or join a public league. So stay tuned for more killer announcements and start playing Yahoo Fantasy Football now at yahoofantasy.com/lockedonnfl. It was a day of highs and lows. Day 9 of training camp practice for Jayden Daniels, who had to have the standard upheld against him, on him, to him. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. Today, looking at a detail, look at the 11-on-11 periods in the 9th practice of 2025 Washington Commanders training camp. Jayden Daniels, 12 for 18 with an interception. So decent enough, completion percentage. What is that? Like 66%. But the interception obviously hurts you. And once the interception happened, Jayden Daniels and the first team offense pulled from the practice field, right? Not kicked out of practice, but just that ends your rep, right? Simple. You go out there, you throw an interception, your unit comes off the field, right? It's very fair. You love it. You love to see it. And I've covered, this game for a good amount of time now. Been in a lot of training camps, and I've seen too many training camps where quarterback throws an interception. All right, reset the ball. Just do it again. Just do it over. And look, I get it. You want to fix it, but these things got to have consequences, right? I feel like these things have to have consequences. So I really like that with this team, when you throw an interception, doesn't matter what we're working on, you throw an interception or you fumble the ball and lose it, that's it. Your unit's off the field. We're getting the next unit on the field. So you like seeing that type of accountability. I've always kind of had an issue with practice sacks as well. I'm not really a big fan of there being a practice sack and then we just continue to play, throw the ball and, maybe run in the end zone and say, yeah, we scored a touchdown when you actually would have gotten blown up against sack. But I can stomach that one a little bit more because, you do still need to kind of complete plays. But you throw the interception, you turn the ball over. That's got to be it. It's got to be done. Some of the highs, offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury and defensive coordinator Joe Witt Jr. spoke to media after practice up here in the media tent where we sit so comfortably. And Cliff Kingsbury praised his approach, Jayden Daniels' approach, saying, quote, I like that he's treating every practice rep like a game rep, end quote. Connected on deep pass to Chris Moore, who made a diving catch against Marshawn Lattimore. Later on, found Deebo Samuel for a big gain, where Deebo basically had to rip the ball away from Jonathan Jones. Like he and cornerback Jonathan Jones basically got to the ball at the same time, and Deebo just had to Deebo it. It's my ball, right? That's what Deebo had to say to Jonathan Jones, fellow veteran, now new teammate. So you like to see that effort out of Deebo, certainly helping out his quarterback. Chris Moore also helping out his quarterback. However, Chris Moore, part of the interception play as well. That was the biggest negative play for the offense anyway, was that interception. A pass to Chris Moore in a situational drill, hit him right in the shoulder. It was a little bit behind, right? But again, you're an NFL receiver, and believe me, Chris would tell you the same thing. You got to come up with that ball. Instead, it deflects off of his shoulder pad, pops up. It doesn't really pop up, but just deflects off his shoulder pad, and Trey Amos, who is in great coverage, is right there to corral it, brings it in, 2 feet down, interception, defense gets the ball, Jayden Daniels and his unit off the field. So you love that. Again, like I said, you just love it. You throw the pick, you get off the field. Under pressure a little bit today. The offensive line had some tough moments. Eddie Goldman got a pressure that probably would have been a sack if we were going live, of course. And then in a late game drill, trying to get into the field goal range, Von Miller beats rookie offensive tackle Josh Connolly Jr. one-on-one. Did not look fair, but again, Von Miller is a future Hall of Fame pass rusher who's been doing this for quite a long time. Josh Connolly Jr., rookie right tackle. So it happened. It's part of the growing process. Don't get crazy. It's part of the growing process, right? Von Miller's going to beat a lot of good people. The great thing about it is the very next play, Deebo Samuel stayed in, helped chip block Von Miller for Josh Connolly Jr. Here's how good Von Miller is. Even with the chip block, he still was able to get around Josh Connolly and get some pressure on the quarterback. Jayden got the ball out in time, but Von Miller certainly would have gotten credit for a pressure. I'm telling you guys, you are going to have a lot of fun watching Von Miller this season. I think it's going to be a blast. Some other practice highlights: cornerback Trey Amos, again, that interception, getting the tip drill interception off the shoulder pad of Chris Moore has to be the highlight of the day. Also love seeing defensive coordinator Joe Witt Jr. on the field celebrating with his unit. It's funny, actually, there was another day where they were doing some late game drill scenario stuff, and the defense stopped the first team offense on a 4th down conversion, stopped them, basically won the game for the defense. The second team came out there and also got a stop. They got a couple of first downs, but ultimately their drive stalled, went for it on 4th down, stopped them. No cheering. None of the fans in attendance were cheering. Nobody was happy. And I get it, right? Every fan wants to see touchdowns. They want to see the big plays, all that stuff. And there's no interceptions, just 4th down stops. So no cheering. And then the third team offense came on. They actually got a touchdown. But 2 out of the 3 defensive units stopped their opponents and no cheering. Joe Jr. was on the field kind of like waving his arms, trying to get the crowd to get excited for their defense, right? Let's support the defense here a little bit. But the crowd was having none of it. It's hot. There's not a lot of shade out there, unfortunately. And they want to see touchdowns, Joe. They want to see or interceptions. They want to see interceptions too. Like, you get an interception, you'll get a cheer. But today, the defense certainly was getting a little bit more love from the crowd and attendance there in Ashburn. It was good to see. Matt Gay not getting a lot of love. Very tough day for the kicker. He's a big leg guy. That's why they brought him in. Like, when you look at Matt Gay compared to Austin Seibert, compared to Zane Gonzalez, the difference between the three guys, or the difference between Austin Seibert and Zane Gonzalez and then Matt Gay. Matt Gay's got a cannon for a leg. Covered Matt Gay entering the league in Tampa Bay, and I can verify that his leg is a boomer, and people on the sidelines are very impressed by it. However, in the two late game periods where the Commanders are down by one, less than a minute left, got 3 timeouts, they're driving down the field, both offenses stalled. Neither offense was able to score a touchdown, but they both got into field goal range, put Matt Gay about 50 yards or so away from a game-winning field goal, and he missed both of them. And that's not what you like to see out of your kicker. And I would think that, look, I think we all think kicking is easier than it actually is. I think kicking is very difficult, but kicking is not like baseball, right? Like baseball, you hit 1 out of every 3, you're batting .333, and you're doing all right. Football, I mean, as a field goal kicker, you better be hitting 9 out of 10, them bad boys. So to miss 2 game-winning scenario kicks in the same day, not a good day for Matt Gay. He's had some solid days. There were a couple of 5-for-5 days and field goal kicks that we've been able to observe for Matt Gay. So again, it hasn't been all bad, but certainly not a good way to end this portion of training. So we'll see how he does in New England. We'll see how he does in the preseason game. But I can tell you right now, if he struggles against New England in the practice or in the preseason game or both, I would expect some competition brought in rather quickly. I don't think this team is going to be too concerned with bringing competition in. So, and look, wouldn't be surprised to see Zane Gonzalez or Austin Seibert come walking back through the door to get a chance to swing the leg for the Commanders once again. So the defense, I would say they won the practice today. The offense, again, did some good things. The completion percentage from Jayden, you certainly like. We saw some more Zach Ertz, of course, from Jayden Daniels. That's what you're going to see. But we're going to start talking to a rookie linebacker who had a good day of practice as well and has been stacking good days in his first NFL training camp. That's coming up next on today's episode of Locked On Commanders, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This episode is brought to you in part by Monarch Money. Have you ever wished that managing your money felt a little bit easier? Well, with Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings, you're planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app, though. It's a complete financial command center where you can track all your accounts, investments, and your spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building your wealth. And I'll tell you, it's really helped me out a lot. Just the other day, I got a Monarch Money charge alert, basically telling me there's a new charge that I needed to review and make sure it was good. And I love it, right? You get a costly interception from Jayden Daniels. You need accountability. You need standards. Well, you get a weird purchase on your debit card or your credit card or whatever. You need the same thing. And that's what my CFO, Monarch Money, did for me. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONNFL for half off your first year. After watching him make plays all over the field, it's time to hear from rookie linebacker Kane Medrano.
I feel great. It's just a blessing to be out here and to be able to compete with the guys that I'm competing with. It's a dream come true.
When you entered OTAs, rookie minicamp, all that kind of stuff, what did you kind of feel like you really needed to kind of sharpen entering the NFL?
Yeah, I think for me it was block destruction and tackling. And obviously we don't tackle much here, but I think it's just more so the techniques and, how I'm coming off blocks when I get to the point of contact. And then just being able to use my hands and my length to keep blockers off me.
When you look back at your time at UCLA, what are you kind of carrying over from your college days to help you be successful here?
Yeah, to just play fast. I'm a faster guy, so just run around and just be considered one of the fastest on the field at all times. And I think if I can continue to do that and just continue to play with this passion and this fire that I have, and that I was playing with at UCLA, I will be all right.
And I know there's been a lot of talk, are you a linebacker, a safety, a star? Like, where is the fit going to really be? You look pretty comfortable in the box. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, I feel very comfortable, a lot more comfortable year in and year out. Just being able to put them snaps and then get those rep counts behind me, and just being able to get comfortable with the guys I'm playing next to, right? And it's nice having the vets that we do because I get to go ask them questions, right? And ask them what they see and how they read stuff so fast because, I'm new to the position, but, this is going on year 6 for me, so I'm not super new. So it's a lot of stuff that I'm still figuring out, but I know at the same time, and it's just fine-tuning those skills.
Let's talk about some of those peers, right? You get to call Bobby Wagner a peer now. I don't know if that's sunk in on you yet, but what's it like to be in the room with Bobby?
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Bobby's a great guy, and he's even a better role model and a better mentor. I just love being able to ask him questions, and it's no type of feelings, right, of where you get this vet to rookie, and it's like, no, he's trying to help out as much as he can, and he's trying to give game as much as he can, and so I'm just blessed to have somebody like that, in my corner and being able to continue to push me to be better every day.
And then another guy in your room, Frankie Luvu, undrafted guy, had to earn, every shred of credit he's ever gotten. What can you take from a guy like that who's carved his path in the NFL?
Just like you said, right? He's had to grind. He's had to put his head down and grind to get to where he's at. And kind of same thing here, right? Yeah, I'm a late round draft pick, but that doesn't really mean nothing, right? I still got to put my head down and grind and prove to the people, and to myself why I belong.
And of course, we all know coaching matters, right?
Yes, sir.
You got some experience with Coach Norton from before here. What's it like to reconnect with him?
It's awesome. He's a guy that I understand really well. His coaching cues and how he coaches, I get along with really well, and so it's nice to have that in your corner as well with Bobby Wagner and him. It's just two vets and two great guys that continue to push each other, right? And Coach Norton's the same way with all of us. He's not different because I'm a rookie and Bobby's a vet. He coaches everybody the same, and so it's lovely to be able to get coached by one of the best linebackers to ever do it.
Well, let's talk about Coach Witt, because in the media, we love him, man.
Yeah.
We love him, and don't tell him I said this, but we're a little bit scared of him.
Okay.
If you ask a dumb question, he's either going to tell you or look at you in a way you asked a dumb question. Yeah. So if he's like that with us, what's he like with you guys?
No, he's awesome, man. He's a true coach, and he just wants to see everybody succeed. And yeah, he's hard on us, and he that passion that he carries, you could feel that when we're inside the film room and when he's out here on the field, right? You can see the excitement when there's a big play, and if there's something that we need to get right, he's going to let us know, and he's not going to shy away from that. And I can't thank him enough for the knowledge that he's poured into me this far, and we're just going to continue to get better, as a defensive squad, and he's going to be the one that keeps us going.
Absolutely. How much does that direct communication help you, right? Knowing exactly where you stand with the coach and where you need to get better and where you did well. How much does that help you?
Yeah, it helps me a lot, right? Because there doesn't leave any gray area of like, I think I did this okay. Like, no, you didn't do that good today. That needs to be better. Or you did this better than yesterday, right? And it's that just lets you know where you stand, and then that gives you a better idea coming in tomorrow of like, okay, this was good. Let's build on this, but this was bad. We need to fix this. So.
And then you've had some really good practices, man. Like you've been stacking good days.
Yeah.
There was one day specifically, I think it was about a week ago now. You had a really good PBU, stretched out, athletic play, made that, and then you came right back with a really good run fit TFL. How are you getting that comfortable this quickly?
Yeah, I think it's just being able to just understand the defense and why he's calling what he's calling when he's calling it. And that just gives you a read, right? We got some plays are more run stopping plays, some plays are more pass stopping plays, and so just being able to understand why he's calling it, when he's calling it, down and distance, and just trusting in my keys and my abilities to make plays.
And today you had some really good reps too, but one really stood out to me. You're pursuing backside on a run play. I want to say it was Kaz Allen.
Yeah.
I may be wrong on the running back.
Yeah, you were right.
Yep. He goes to cut back,
yeah,
and boom, you're right there.
Yeah,
Just waiting on him, envelop him. As a young guy, right, we see a lot of young guys over pursue, get out of their lane because they want to go make the play ahead of him instead of being patient. How do you keep that mindset as you're playing the snap?
Yeah, I think my mindset is always be aggressive, but like I just said earlier, understanding what the defense is, right? At some point, he's going to have to cut back, and that's my gap, right? And so just being able to understand that if that's my gap and my gap continues to move, I just got to continue to move, and then when I see the time to strike, I strike, and that's kind of how it unfolded.
Talked to Coach Quinn this morning about training camp playbooks, right? You got the full playbook. Obviously, everybody knows that. But right now, kind of in the install book. I don't know if that's what you guys call it here, the install playbook or whatever it is, but kind of talk to people who've never been in your shoes, kind of what the difference is.
Yeah, I think we're just out here continuing to just sharpen our tools on each side, whether it's the install playbook or just the whole playbook in general, right? What we're running now is what we ran, last year, and we're just trying to continue to build on what last year's performance was and figure out the kinks and stuff that they had last year and just fix them, So it's all the same, right? We're putting that whole playbook in now to sharpen these tools to come season, then we know what our good plays are.
Getting the opportunity to hit another player in a different uniform coming up this week, how much are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to it, man. It's been a while since I've actually got to put some pads on people. Yeah, we get pads here, but it's nothing like actual tackle to the ground, so I'm excited.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today's episode. Next time on Locked On Commanders, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into what the coaches had to say. First time we got to speak to offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury, defensive coordinator Joe Witt Jr. In training camp. We're going to take a look at players that we need to see stand out against the New England Patriots in the joint practice and more. So make sure you come back for that. In the meantime, if you've got questions or comments, you can text them directly to me by becoming a Locked On Commanders insider. Go to joinsubtext.com/LockedOnCommanders to do that today. For your second listen, check out Locked On Bets. Betting experts Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers have daily Major League Baseball locks and can't miss football futures. Find Locked On Bets on YouTube or wherever you're listening to this podcast. To the everydayers, I see you every day. I appreciate you every day. And I thank you especially for coming through today. Until next time, stay safe, be kind to one another, and we'll talk again soon right here on Locked On Commanders, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.